I have been drawn closer to my faith over the past 8 months with daily rosaries and Eucharistic adoration, etc., which of course is great. During this time, though, I found that I was less patient with my family and angrier in general, to the point where I spoke to my priest about it. Was I being tested somehow? Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, Julie, I mean, there are several reasons why that could happen. The first thing you want to make sure you're doing is that when you do the Eucharistic adoration and the rosaries, you know, that you've got some psychic energy available for your family and, you know, for your work responsibilities and things of this nature. Remember, you know, if you have a family and work responsibilities, you know, your obligation to your family is very, very key indeed. And even though the rosaries are wonderful, you might want, you know, if you're doing more than one a day or you're doing long hours of Eucharistic adoration, you may want to just experiment a little bit and cut back maybe on something in the spiritual domain, especially if you just find you don't have psychic energy anymore. Right, to deal patiently with your kids and so forth. That's probably a bad sign. And you know, I remember a long time ago when I was talking about indiscernment, the angel can come appearing like an angel of light. So, you know, it'd be very typical of the devil to say, now, Julie, you know, if one rosary is good, two are better. And if two is better, then three is the best. And why don't you put in 2 hours of Eucharistic adoration while you're at it? And then, of course, you come back and you're fulfilled in your faith. But, I mean, you've got this much psychic energy left, and all you need is one child to come out of the blue at you, and the next thing you know, whew, you've got no psychic energy to either manage your emotions or manage your imagination, and in both cases, the result is not good. So St. Ignatius says always moderate, you know, remember, St. Ignatius himself wanted to spend all of his time, you know, in begging and prayer. And then, of course, he starts flunking out of school. Remember, he had to go to school kind of to make up because he became a soldier kind of early on in life. So he's going to grammar school and then to kind of the equivalent of high school, you know. And of course, he's sitting there with all these younger kids in the classroom, and he's flunking out because, you know, he's doing all of his spiritual tasks, right? He's doing his begging, he's doing his hours upon hours of prayer, at which point it begins to occur to him, hey, wait a minute, what does God want me to do? And you can't just say, God wants me to do more prayer, because God doesn't want necessarily you to do more prayer. God wants you to do more prayer if you can do it and still be patient with your family and still do your work responsibilities, right? You can't flunk out of school, St. Ignatius. So Ignatius begins to say, well, I think what God wants me to do is get educated so I can go to the university and really do something with my life. And that means that God wants me to give up some prayer so I can pass the Latin exam. So essentially, you just have to be a good discerner.